if I look at the flow numbers that you've put out, particularly now for March, we're seeing very, very strong flows across the board. What do you think are some of the reasons for that? And I think you have touched on some of the things you're optimistic about for the future, but perhaps you could elaborate a bit more on that.
Yeah, it's been fascinating the last 3-4 months in the ETF industry here in EMEA. I think it shows that we're at an inflection point. We are seeing structural adoption of ETFs here in Europe, and I used to run our iShares business, and in fact, when I first had the privilege of working with you was when I was running our iShares business, and we always used to talk about look at the US and look at the structural adoption of ETFs, and that's what we're seeing here in Europe, and even in a tough environment for investors, where we're seeing a lot of investors on the sidelines, investing in cash, waiting and seeing what happens to markets. We've seen a huge inflow of money going into iShares here in EMEA. I think what it tells you is that this is an adoption cycle. And that adoption cycle is about really the education around how to use these different tools. The fact that we actually now have a breadth of product that allows investors to build really interesting portfolios, anything from kind of government bonds and fixed income through to things like high yield, emerging market debt, through to individual countries, through to what we've got on the equity side, thematics, this ability to build really quite sophisticated portfolios of ETFs, these building blocks, which was not there a decade ago, now exists for investors here in the region. I think that's hugely exciting. And I would couple that with what I said earlier on, this growth of digital wealth and the emergence of neobanks, neo-brokers, the amount of money that we're now seeing whereby individuals are setting up accounts at their bank with a new a digital player, whereby they are able to put money into markets through ETFs. This is something we've never seen before in Europe, and it's something, as I said earlier on, that was really catalyzed by COVID. And I think it sets us in for kind of, in the same way we talked about a new regime for investing, I think we're actually in a new regime for the adoption of ETFs here in Europe.